Feel it, feel it, feel the vibration. Get it? Marky Mark. Hey, everybody, it's the Brothers Game Podcast.
That's right.
With me, Marky Mark.
And me, Brian.
It's your boy Usher over there. Okay. Hey, Merry Christmas, Xbox. What's up, everybody? We're having a very normal time.
Yes, very normal.
Tell us
Nothing weird here.
Tell us about your day. Oh, wait, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
You're somewhere else.
Sad.
Somewhere out in the ether. Brian, my son's due date is 4 days away.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So, really, any second, I really got to pay attention to my phone as we record this, because who knows? My wife's water could break in in the next couple of minutes. Who knows?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm up to. So I've kind of just been doing nothing but prepping the house, and then playing video games because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah. I did my taxes.
Oh, thrilling. Let's talk about taxes the whole episode. I'm just kidding.
Well, I am getting a decent sized return, so that's nice. It's so
I might do that just to get a nice return. So.
People always talk about like, oh, you're giving the government an interest-free loan. It's like, okay, first of all, when I get the form from my employer, there is a checkbox. There's a number I put down. I put those down, and that's how much taxes get taken out. Like, I don't really have an option to go, please take less taxes. Okay, thanks.
Please take less.
So I just enjoy the lump sum I get every year and just am thankful I don't have to pay.
Yeah, it's our one. It's the one good thing we get out of the whole tax situation.
Yeah. So I've taken this opportunity to by myself just replace a couple of things that were really worn out.
Nice.
Nothing too extravagant. Just like, so I had a pair of shoes that were a few years old, and just the insoles were almost completely worn down, and the outsides didn't look great either, and they didn't fit great. And so I went and got some new shoes.
Got it.
I also had a wallet that I think I've had since high school.
Yeah.
So
most men's wallets are like that.
So 2005-ish.
Yeah.
Time.
Insane.
And what's funny is
most people on the internet weren't born then.
Yeah. At one point I replaced it with a different wallet, and that one wore out so quickly that I threw it out and went back to this one.
To Old Faithful.
It's
awesome.
It still functions. It's just like falling apart.
Yeah.
So I have a new wallet. It's not a very exciting wallet, but it's not falling apart.
Is it just your standard bifold leather kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool. Shoes and wallet.
Yeah. Oh, so also our grandpa, our mother's father.
Yes, mother's side. Papa, very cool dude.
Yes.
R.I.P.
He had an Aria guitar from the 1960s. And it was buried in his garage for many years. In fact, apparently, our mom told me the story recently that he sold it at one point. And then your dad bought it back from the guy Papa sold it to, and then gave it back to Papa.
Dang, that's cool.
So that's pretty cool.
Dang, my dad's cool.
Yeah. So
that's funny.
It needed some work, some TLC.
Yeah, for sure.
But I took it to our local guitar shop, and they do really good work.
Great shop, yeah.
He got it cleaned up and neck adjusted, put strings on it, and he actually replaced the trem arm, which it hasn't had a trem arm in many.
That's cool.
Like the original one got lost forever ago, so he replaced both the spring and the trem arm, so you can actually use it.
Nice.
So that's really cool.
Cool.
Sounds interesting. It's not like some
it's a pretty cool
amazing
guitar,
sounding guitar, but it's cool. Sounds good.
It's hollow body, yeah.
Yeah, full hollow.
Full hollow electric. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Yeah,
so
I saw it.
That's what I've been doing with my tax return.
It's pretty now.
Yep.
Yeah, I might do that. Pay some bills instead.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I've found out that I really need to get Pokemon Shield back.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna get into Pokemon. Shocking.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry. A while ago, I worked on doing living dexes.
Yeah.
And I did it in both X and Y. or Gen 6 had a whole living dex there.
Yeah.
So
you've got the most complete living dex I have personally seen.
Yeah, it's it's complete through Gen 6. And then I did the same thing with the regional dex of Alola and Ultra Sun and Moon, which is 400 Pokemon just there. So I have those separately, complete, totally done. And so that made me look into the Pokemon Home living dex. Now that is like over 1,000 Pokemon now, not including regional forms and mythicals and stuff. And so I didn't want to get rid of what I have in Gen 6 and just transfer it all up through Bank, which I could just do. But I want to keep them in Gen 6 because I actually really like the Gen 6 games. And so I started from scratch, basically.
Oh, boy.
But I already had a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah.
I had all the Pokemon I had from like the whole Switch era, basically.
Yeah.
And ones I had saved from like, so I found my oldest Pokemon that I had in Pokemon Home was my Greninja starter from Pokemon X back in 2013, I think.
Oh, wow.
So it was my first playthrough of X, which Gen 6 is when I got back into Pokemon, basically, right? Sort of you too.
Yeah. It was about that time frame, but I wasn't playing Gen 6 at first, but it was Alola that really like Gen 7 that really got me back in.
I feel like that too,
full-fledged.
but X was like my whoa.
Yeah.
Pokemon's cool again. And I still have it. Still have all those Pokemon, which is always I think is really cool.
Yeah. So the thing that started me back, I part of me never let go of Pokemon.
Of course,
completely. But I didn't play on any regular basis for several years.
Yeah.
But
especially during the Gen 4-5 era, basically.
Yeah, Gen 3 through 5.
Yeah, we really
didn't play much at all.
And I didn't either because I was your little brother. Yeah. And I did what you did, basically.
Right.
Because that's just how it works.
Those were the Halo, World of Warcraft, etc.
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero, yeah.
For sure. I was busy playing Kingdom Hearts instead of Pokemon.
But our friend Kyle was interested in doing a Pokemon game through RPG Maker.
Yeah, basically a ROM hack.
Yeah, well, more than that because he was rather than taking existing ROM, he was actually basically rebuilding the game, but using RPG Maker to do it. And as part, I was big into this. I was like, this is great. Cool. I want to be a part of this. Yeah. And as a part of that, I went and pulled up Pokemon Blue and played through it one day, which only took me 10 hours anyway. Just if I'm not doing any sort of speedrun strat whatsoever and I'm just playing the game, it takes me only about 10 hours to finish.
Right.
And gave him some insights as to like, okay, this is what it's like to play a Pokemon game and like fresh in my memory.
Yeah.
But at that point, I had only played Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver.
Yeah.
I had not played any other Pokemon games at that point. And I up until Moon came Sun and Moon came out and I played Moon, up until then, I still had only played those 5 games. And then it wasn't until after Sun and Moon that I started getting all the emulators and stuff and trying out each of the other gens.
Yeah, and so for me, it was just the internet that got me to think about Pokemon more. So it was you doing all that, so me hearing about and seeing Pokemon more often.
Yeah.
And then the hype around Gen 6 was crazy on the internet. And there was so much speculation on the starters and the mega evolutions, like what is all this? And just the stark difference of it going to 3D. I was like, oh, it's like Pokemon Stadium. I remember that.
Yeah.
Like, that's really cool. And I was really into the 3DS. I loved the DS. That was like an obsession of mine, basically, was the DS and stuff. And so...
You were always more into...
I always loved mobile.
The DS.
Yeah, mobile consoles in general, and I still do.
And just every iteration of the DS, basically.
And so I just naturally was going towards Pokemon because of that. And then when I played X and became obsessed, and then like I remember the Pokemon like Generations, I think it was called. Pokemon cards came out, and they had these little mythical sets. They had like a special card of like Mew or whatever, and a little pin, and then 2 generations packs that came with it. And I was like, those are the coolest things ever. Mythical Pokemon are awesome.
Yep.
And so everything just sort of became Pokemon, and it's sort of just been like that ever since.
Yep.
So anyway, all that to say, I still have all those Pokemon, and I'm very grateful that I never got rid of them, or nothing happened to them. Like I had the forethought to pay for Pokemon Bank back in the day, which was like $5 a year or something, and just keep all that, which is very helpful now that I'm creating a living dex, so that also includes, by the way, I posted this on Twitter, my first shiny Pokemon, which is about 10 years old now, which was a Poliwhirl from X and Y, which I'd fished up, which I was so thrilled about because it's one of my favorite Pokemon. I think I did chain fish for that, so it's not a full odds shiny, but in Sun and Moon, I did get my first full odds shiny, which was a Tentacool that I found when playing Moon. I just randomly ran into it in in surfing, which was so insanely cool. I could not believe it when that happened. And so I've just had that bug ever since, I think, that moment. But,
I shared it on this podcast, but the first shiny encounter where like I knew that I had encountered a shiny, and it was just a full odds in the wild shiny, was a Geodude that I found in, I think, a Soul Silver playthrough.
Yeah, like Heart Gold or Soul Silver, which is full odds.
Yeah.
1 in 8,196.
Yeah.
So that's saying something. That's a real shiny. That's what the OG people consider a real shiny, basically.
Yeah. I feel like that partially makes up for how few shinies I've encountered.
Yes, at least you have a full odds one. Yeah. so there you go. So basically, through looking through, I painstakingly went through all my Pokemon in Pokemon Home and organized them in the correct orders, named all my boxes, 1 through 30, 31 through 60, 61 through 90, all the way up until like 1100.
Yeah.
And plugged them all in.
That sounds so tedious.
It didn't take that long, honestly. No. And when you're like watching something, it's fairly easy to do. And I'm using the Pokedex Tracker website, which is, I think, the best tracker out there. It's insanely easy. It's already broken up into boxes, basically.
Yeah.
And they're labeled the same. And so I know where Pokemon go, even if I don't have all the other Pokemon there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't have to count anything. I just know, like, third from the left down 1 is where that goes. Because I can just look at it on the website. So I think that saves tons of time.
Yeah. So they've had item bag auto sorting for a long time.
Yeah.
It's long past time they had Pokedex. Pokemon box, storage box.
Auto sorting. Yeah. That really should be a thing. I don't know. Because you can view your Pokemon like that in like a list format, and you can change the format of it. Like you can go from the date you caught them. That's how I found my earliest Pokemon. I just searched for Pokemon that way. Yeah. But you can't sort them. Yeah, I think that's... Yeah. So maybe in the next generation or in a home update, they'll do that. But anyway, that would be nice. That would have saved me some time. Yeah. But it is kind of nice because it familiarizes myself with more Pokemon. Like, it's easier for me to... Like, I know all the Pokemon now, pretty well. And a lot of them I know when they evolve and stuff because I've had to have, I've had to evolve them or get the pre-evolution and know when to do it because it's a living dex. Yeah. So it's not just filling the Pokedex. So basically when it came down to it, I was not missing a lot of Pokemon. And thankfully a lot of them I could catch in Scarlet and Violet, which is 10 times easier than in any other game since, because just the way catching works in that game is just so much quicker than in something like Gen 6 or whatever. There's a few Pokemon like that are unobtainable on the Switch, period. Yeah. Like the monkeys, the elemental monkeys.
Oh yeah, like
Simisear.
Simisear, Simipour.
Yeah, all of them. It's completely uncatchable. They are only available in Gen 6 right now.
Interesting.
That is the only way to get. That is the latest you can go to get those Pokemon, which is pretty insane. So those ones I just took from my living decks in X and Y, and I'll just recatch them in X and Y because they're just in the wild. They're really easy to get.
Yeah.
So there's a few Pokemon like that I had to send up. Furfro is one of them. So just a few like that. Not a big deal. And then one of the most annoying things was a few legendaries. So in Scarlet and Violet, you can catch almost all the legendaries, most of them, but not all of them.
Yeah.
And so I was very thankful to have one of my Sun and Moon playthroughs. So I had an Ultra Sun playthrough that I had Shiny Hunted Xerneas in, which I talked about before. But I hadn't finished the game yet, which was so helpful because I needed a type null, which I could get in Sword and Shield, but this would be easier. I needed Solgaleo, which I could get in Scarlet and Violet, but I also needed a Cosmo M, the middle stage of Cosmog,
Right.
and that is impossible to get unless it's in either the Sword and Shield DLC, which I already had. I already used that Cosmog from my original Shield playthrough, or in Sun and Moon. So I was like so thankful.
Oh yeah, because you
was
can't
available.
breed legendaries.
You
can
can't, yeah.
Right.
Even though he evolves, you can't just breed to get a Cosmog.
Yeah.
It's still like a one of a kind Pokemon basically. No. So I just went through the Elite Four pretty quickly on that. Caught those, super super helpful. The other tough one was Poipole and Naganadel. I don't know if you remember those, but they're from the Ultra games. It's like a dragon poison type.
Okay.
It's one of it's sort of an Ultra Beast. And so I had those in my Sun and Moon. And again, I didn't want to just send those up and lose them in Sun and Moon. But I was looking in Pokemon Home. They have a GTS, the Global Trade Station.
Right.
Where you can search for. I just searched up Poipole and saw what people, were offering for it, and it was like a tough call. But somebody was asking for Iron Crown, which is like the Cobalion Paradox form from Scarlet and Violet, and I'm like, I already have that in my Pokedex. I'm not going to worry about those as much because hopefully there'll probably be raids for that eventually where you can get another one or an event or something like that. Or worst case, I just play through Violet again and get it. Not that big of a deal. It's more annoying to get Poipole, so I just went for that.
Yeah.
So I traded that and I got that, so that's helpful. And so right now, I'm down to only needing like 30 Pokemon.
Cool.
Total in that Pokedex. And so I'm actually playing through Pokemon Sword right now.
Yeah.
Your copy of Sword. And so I just got to the 4th gym in that because there's a bunch of odds and end Pokemon that I need that are all in Sword and Shield, thankfully. And so like I need like a Munna and like a Tranquil and a Doublade and just like very random little Pokemon that I can just easily get in Sword and Shield. So the problem is that I had Shield, right?
Yeah.
Sold a while ago, didn't need it. Now I need it again because I had the DLC in that. And of course, that is the only way to get Calyrex.
Yeah.
Which is the legendary for Crown Tundra. Now, Scarlet and Violet has Spectrier and Glacier, the horses, but it does not have Calyrex. You cannot catch Calyrex in any way. Now, I still have Calyrex from my Shield playthrough. However, it is bonded with Spectrier, the ghost horse.
Right.
I did not know you could split them apart.
Oh.
Didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah.
Apparently, in Sword and Shield, you just go to like your key items, use the Reigns of Destiny or Unity or whatever.
Yeah, I remember doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I didn't know you could do that. And so he's still fused. To unfuse them is easy, but I need Shield.
Yeah.
And I don't have Shield. So I need to get Pokemon Shield just to like open the menu and unfuse them and then close it again. That's all I need. That's all I need to do.
Yeah. Well, I've always wanted to play through Shield.
True. I mean, I'll
And
be
I-
happy to have Shield anyway because I'll have the DLC. Don't have to buy it again.
Yeah.
Because it's already purchased, and they have the Dynamax Adventures where you can get any legendary in the world. I could get another Poipole to have for the living decks. I could get all these different other things that I could possibly want. But yeah, because I have your copy of Sword that I'm playing through, but I'd have to buy the DLC again
Yeah.
because the DLC doesn't cover both versions.
Oh, interesting.
It'd be nice if it did.
Yeah.
But no, I only have it for Shield. So so yeah. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get Shield at some point. People resell it for fairly cheap, so
Yeah.
if I can find it for like $25, I'll totally just get it. You can find it for 30, 35 pretty frequently, which is not bad. I might just, have to go for that.
Wonder if Retro has it, because I still have a decent amount of store credit.
They do, but it's like $55. It's almost full price there. But yeah, so. Ooh, if you want to get it though, and it could be your Shield, and I can just borrow it real quick. That works for me.
Yeah.
Let me know if you want to do that.
I might. I think I've
yeah.
got enough store credit that I could just cover it.
Probably.
And not have to actually.
So hey,
pay
think
anything out of
about it.
pocket,
Yeah,
so,
that'd be awesome. And I just asked you before the podcast too, so thanks in advance for your gouging fire and raging bolt for my living decks as well. So the last couple annoying ones are Iron Leaves and Walking Wake, because they are event like raid only. Like you can only get them through event raids in the game, and those raids aren't going right now, so they're literally impossible to get for me. And so I actually traded my Cubfu for an Iron Leaves, which totally worth it to me, because it's already logged in the decks. I can get another one later if I need to, and so I'm just missing Walking Wake for that.
Right.
And people are very stingy with that, so hopefully I'll find one on the GTS or something, or they'll have a new event, because when these events actually happen, I don't care usually,
Yeah.
but I should realize by now that I will care later probably.
Yeah.
And that I should just take the time and just go for it.
I've never participated in any Pokemon event of any kind.
Yeah, so yeah, and I regret that a lot now, especially like in the Sun and Moon era, they were just giving away event shiny Lunala and Solgaleo. I'm like, I would love to have those now. Like I had those games then. Why didn't I just do that? Yeah. So whatever. That's why when Pecharunt came out and stuff, I'm like, I'm doing that immediately. Like I'm not going to miss out on event stuff. So, and the Mew and
Yeah, which I was like, oh, I should do that, and then I never did, and then I never got it.
and it's just that just happens. Like I'm really trying to not miss out on those things.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I already had a couple Mews. That's not that big of a deal. But yeah, it is cool when they just, give out Mews like they're nothing. Like, I have Crystal on the 3DS, right? The 3DS Virtual Console version of Pokemon Crystal. And in that game, they, hard coded in the GS Ball event Celebi. That was Japan only, way back in the late 90s and stuff.
Yeah.
And was the only way to legitimately get Celebi. And now you can just get it in a normal playthrough of Crystal, but only on the Virtual Console, which is now closed down.
Yeah.
So now it basically is a timed event, even though it wasn't. But I have it. So I have unlimited Celebis. I would just have to replay through the game over and over.
Yeah.
But that's awesome.
Yeah.
Having the option for mythicals like that is really nice.
Yeah. I think when I was a kid, I think I used a Game Shark to get a Celebi.
Oh yeah,
Because I had a Celebi on my team.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure a million
there's no
kids
way
did
I
that,
probably would have got it without that. So
yeah, I think it's literally impossible
Yeah.
to get it legitimately.
It's not like with Mew where there are multiple ways you can just glitch the game and get it.
Yeah, which is legitimate-ish.
Yeah.
It's at least not hacked, It's
it's just pulling it from the game's code. It's in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely. It's funny. People make fun of the Let's Go thing a lot. So in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee,
Yeah.
they sold a Pokeball Plus controller. It
Right.
was a little Pokeball that you could actually use as a controller. Has like a little joystick in the button. Super cute little controller.
Yeah.
And when you bought it new, there was a Mew in the controller basically that you could transfer into your Let's Go game
Yeah.
if you had the Pokeball. And people always, I've seen multiple people refer to that as like you have to spend $50 to get a Mew. And I'm like, that's funny and the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You getting a you realize it's a fully functioning controller, right?
Right.
It's not just the Mew. You don't. It's not just a card with a Mew on it.
Yeah.
It's a functioning controller
Right.
that has other uses than just the Mew. But okay,
Yeah.
bit of a stretch in my opinion. But people like to rag on Pokemon for that kind of
Yeah.
stuff all the time. So.
They have lots of reasons.
Yeah. Also, if you play Scarlet and Violet and say this game is ugly, I don't like, I'm mad at it because of that. If you want to play a really beautiful Pokemon game, I highly recommend playing Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Those games are gorgeous. Playing Sword again, I can't believe how good the game looks.
Yeah.
Like everything's so like smooth and clean and colorful, and like not counting the wild area as much, it doesn't look quite as good. But the routes and the towns and stuff, like the menus, the Pokemon centers, the animations on the Pokemon themselves, gorgeous. Best looking Pokemon game I've ever seen.
Much better optimized for the Switch.
Yes, I think so. And yeah, I've had no frame rate issues whatsoever on Sword and Shield. Yeah, I highly recommend going back to that
Yeah.
and just realizing how good we had it. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
That would make people probably very mad to hear that.
Yeah.
I just checked my phone. I'm not having a baby yet. Okay.
Okay. Good. All right. So
That's what I've been up to. Sword is very fun.
I saw people talking about them maybe making Gold and Silver remakes as another Let's Go game.
Yeah, that's the current rumor.
Hope they don't. I really hope they don't. And here's the thing. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, for the most part, 80% loved it.
Good game. Yeah.
What I don't like,
good
the
remake.
two things I don't like are how you catch Pokemon, because I think I like Pokemon Go and Pokemon being two completely separate things.
Yeah, understandable.
And also the controls. Like if I don't have the little Pokeball thing, I can use one Joy-Con. That's it. I can't even use a Pro controller.
Yep.
I
Not
don't like
compatible
that at all.
with Pro Controller. Very strange. Yeah.
Like, give me the Sword and Shield control layout.
Yes. Which is a very good control layout. By the way.
Because it's also way more simple and streamlined
Yes.
than Legends Arceus or Scarlet Violet.
Yeah.
So like,
Scarlet Violet has a lot of buttons that do a lot of things.
yeah. So like, give me
Understandable.
the Sword and Shield control layout, and even this, honestly, even Sword and Shield graphics. I don't need any better than that.
Beautiful. Well, I will say Let's Go was beautiful also.
Yeah, and Let's Go looked great.
Very good graphically.
Perfectly fine with that too. And just give me Johto.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've heard those rumors as well. It was like a leak.
Yeah.
But the leak says that, first of all, it's Let's Go Wooper and Let's Go Togepi.
Okay.
Right? That's fake.
Yeah.
100%. I am 100% debunking it right now. There is no way they would pick those two.
Yeah.
Like Togepi makes sense, but Wooper is a meme.
Yeah.
And they're not going to call a Pokemon game a meme.
Right.
They are smarter than that.
Yeah.
And Pokemon Go is not nearly as big as it was when Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out.
Yeah.
They are not going to capitalize on that like they did back then.
Yeah.
I think Game Freak is too smart money-wise to make those two games. I'm completely saying it's fake. That is my stance
If
on
they're
it.
going to go with two Pokemon, they're going to go with two Pokemon from Johto that are not starters or legendaries.
Right.
I would guess Togepi and
Togepi makes
Meryl.
sense. Meryl makes way more
Because
sense. I agree.
Meryl was, I think...
Peekaboo.
Yeah,
that was such a thing.
It was like the
huge
first
thing.
Johto or first Gen 2 Pokemon that we saw.
Yeah.
That and Togepi, because we saw them in the anime before Gold and Silver were released, at least in America. So
I agree. That makes way more sense.
yeah. I do love the meme that you're like, you think you know every Pokemon, and then you watch Pokemon the first movie, and this guy rocks up, and it's Donphan.
Yeah, you're like,
and you're just like, who is this?
what
What?
is this?
There's a Pokemon I've never heard
What's
of.
happening?
So yeah, Donphan,
think that's so baller.
Snubble,
Yeah.
Meryl, and Togepi.
Yeah, I love when they introduce stuff ahead of time randomly. You're like,
Yeah.
what is that? What's happening? That's very cool.
You thought you knew every
Yeah.
Pokemon. Guess what?
Joke's on you. Yeah, so I think Gen 5 is the most obvious one for a remake, but I also think Gen 2 makes sense for a remake or a new game of some sort.
Yeah.
And they seem to have hinted at that with a few things on social media and in the games leading up to this.
Yeah.
So I think a remake of some sort with Johto is possible, but I really don't think it's going to be a Let's Go game. I don't think they're I don't think they're going to do Let's Go again, but
It would be cool to
I
have a
could be
Legends
wrong.
game. It would also be just as cool for me to just have a straight up modern graphics
just a remake. Yeah. I think they really missed it with Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and basically making it too faithful, where
Yeah.
there's just nothing new to it, and there's no
Yeah.
point in playing it, basically. But,
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing is I guess you can catch Arceus now, which is really cool, but you could do that in Legends Arceus too, so who cares?
You know what's funny is if when they made Fire Red Leaf Green, if
Yeah.
they had instead made like a Lightning Yellow,
Yeah.
and then
Single thing or something.
and if instead of Heart Gold Soul Silver they had just made like Spirit Crystal or something, I would have been disappointed. But
Yeah.
when it comes to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire or Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, I would have preferred they remade the third game and just one of the
Yeah.
third game.
Yeah, that's understandable. I think with Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, it really is an Emerald remake because it has all the
Right.
things from Emerald in it. And that was really missing in Sparkling, Shining Pearl, whatever.
Yeah.
Because none of the Platinum improvements were there.
Yeah.
Which
And
just made it weird. I don't know.
Having somewhat recently played through Platinum, it's such a better game
So
than
much
Diamond
better.
and Pearl were.
Yeah.
So
The vibe is so much better. Yeah.
yeah. I still don't get how it's so much better,
don't
but
know
it
either.
just is.
Yeah. I've been playing that off and on as well. So, yeah, I really enjoy that. I think personally, I'm just a big fan of Gen 6, so I'm probably biased, but I think Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire are the perfect Pokemon remakes.
Yeah.
I think they're better than Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
I
even.
did really enjoy
But-
Alpha Sapphire when I
Yeah.
played it. So
I think it has just the right amount of the old stuff and new stuff. I think adding more Mega Evolutions was really cool. I think soaring over the whole region is insanely cool.
yeah.
The whole Delta episode is really cool. It's totally new and fresh. You get to catch Deoxys, which is awesome.
Yeah.
That was an unobtainable mythical before that. I think there's a lot to like about it. Visually, I think it's really nice, but I like the Gen 6 visuals. So, yeah, I think that's like my gold standard of Pokemon remakes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do with Gen 5 because that's a really beloved gen nowadays. It wasn't before, but yeah, I mean, we'll just kind of see. I really hope they make another Legends game. That'd be so the ideal scenario to me would be Legends Johto,
Yeah.
so Legends Celebi or whatever, and then good remakes of Unova with some new stuff, kind of like a better remake than Brilliant
Yeah.
Diamond Shining Pearl. That's all I could ask for.
Yeah.
That would be the top of the top for me. But yeah,
I feel like you could probably do this is too wishful thinking
Yeah.
to really happen, but what they could
true.
do with a Gen 5 remake is
Yeah.
you do a straight remake of Black and White, but then you have a sort of epilogue where you include stuff from Black to White too.
just like a whole new
Yeah.
yeah. I think that'd be cool.
You could even do it as DLC. Like
yeah,
as much as I'd prefer it not be that way, you
Right.
could totally do it as DLC. It just and then it's you just handle it the way
get
you
both.
did with
Yeah.
Scarlet Violet, and it's an additional story tacked on,
Yeah.
and then you just include the black 2 white 2 stuff in the DLC.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that makes sense. I think there'd be a lot of people mad about that and a lot of people really happy about that. So,
Right.
so like everything Pokemon all the time. There's always somebody mad and somebody really happy. So,
Yep.
so I guess we'll
The
just
duality
see.
of man.
Yes, because there is a Nintendo Direct on the horizon.
No.
They haven't announced it, but there's always been one in February. So any second now, basically. And Pokemon Day is fairly soon. So
Oh, okay, yeah. I couldn't remember if it had already come and gone or
Yeah.
if it was still
so
coming.
Pokemon Day is soon.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll get some news of some sort. So
Yeah.
probably not a release date for a new game, but at least a teaser for what it would be. So
Yeah.
who knows?
Pokemon Sleep 2.
Yes, heck yeah, let's go. Speaking of let's go, I'm gonna be really embarrassed if the leaks are totally real and it's Let's Go Wooper and Let's Go Togepi. I just there's no way
The
that's
memers
real.
would rejoice.
Yeah, there's no way that's real. So I don't know. We'll
He's
see.
just a little guy.
He is a little guy. He's really cute. I would get Let's Go Wooper. That would be the one I would
didn't,
pick. So.
I didn't really ever think much about Wooper, but after seeing all the memes, it's like, you
Yeah.
know what? I do like him.
He's really adorable.
He's great.
Yeah.
And I think actually Clodsire helped me like Wooper more.
Clodsire is great. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of PokeTubers, that's like their mascot is Wooper, basically.
Yeah.
I know Shiny Catherine's like that, and Small Ant, that's his like favorite Pokemon. So, yeah.
It's funny. I could get into the PokeTubing thing, but it's probably really oversaturated at this point. So
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that make it are the ones who were doing it, 10 years ago, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like Candy Eevee and people like that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
too late. It's too late for us. We'll just talk about it on our
yeah.
podcast.
Exactly.
Go follow my Twitter if you want to see my shiny hunts.
Yeah. So, been thinking a lot about toys.
Oh, toys.
Toys were a big
can't
part
wait.
of my
Toys.
early childhood. I was all about toys.
Yes, as most
Like-
kids are.
Yeah. Now, I had a SNES that I would play sometimes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We'd play Aladdin every once in a while.
And I played outside plenty, but I had a lot of toys, and I loved toys. And anytime we went to a store, I would immediately run to the toy section
yeah.
and just look. And just be
Loved
like, I
looking
want
at
this
toys.
and this and this. And I always wanted everything.
Yeah. I loved looking at toys as a kid. Ugh.
And there were points in my childhood where I had quite the collection, just
Yeah.
a very big collection of toys. And so I just wanted to kind of talk about.
Well, I just think it's funny that we do that as adults now too.
Yeah.
we have toy collections as adults.
yeah,
Also.
they look a little different, but they're
Yeah.
toys really.
Well, mine don't look that different. It's pretty
Oh,
much
yeah, that's true.
Pokemon and Nintendo systems
Yeah.
and stuff. So.
So, just wanted to talk about some of the toys from my childhood and
Yeah, let's
and
go.
yours and
Let's go
all that.
early.
Yeah. So when I do what I usually do, and I
do you-
think way back.
Yeah, what do you think
to
of
the beginning.
immediately?
So, our mom influenced a little bit of my early toy collections because
sure.
she did this thing where it's like, yes, these are yours. I bought them for
Yours.
you. Wink. Yeah. So especially with Micro Machines and Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
So those
were
were some
for
of
her.
my earliest toys were Micro Machines and Hot Wheels. And I
Yeah.
still have a box full of Hot Wheels
Yep.
from the early 90s.
It's the same green container, right?
Well, now
what
it's
we
in
used
a
to have?
cardboard box because
Messed
yeah.
up.
I don't think we have any more of those. Have those anymore?
Sad.
Yeah. And I was big into Legos.
Yes.
Loved Legos.
A big tub of Legos. I remember very well.
And I followed the instructions to the letter. And I would build. And I always felt very accomplished after I completed a Lego set.
Yeah, I think that's actually really good for kids to follow instructions like that and complete something.
Yeah.
You had the castle,
Yeah. I had.
which is now goes for a lot of money. That is a very
Honestly,
sought after.
So
set.
10-ish years ago, we were at a Lego store. It wasn't like an official Lego store. It was a store that resold
Mostly
Legos.
it's like minifigs, especially.
Yeah. And they had one of that set, and it was less than $200.
Oh.
I should have bought it.
Yeah, it probably has gone up by now.
It's probably way more than that now.
Because Lego collecting has gotten bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So,
although, also, I think a lot of pieces you can just order direct from Lego.
yes. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wonder if you could assemble it piece by piece eventually, you know? Like,
it depends on
Find little
I wonder if
bits.
there are some custom pieces that it would just be too difficult to get a hold of.
yeah, maybe.
I still have the base for it, but it's cracked.
Yeah, so sad. But that just happened. That's kind of just going to happen if it's a actual kid playing with it.
Yeah.
It's just bound to happen.
Yeah. Also, you demolished it at one point.
I didn't
still
crack
blame
I
you
didn't
for
crack it.
Yeah, okay.
I did not crack the base.
Okay.
Yeah, so one time you had assembled it and it was in your closet.
Yeah.
And I remember deliberately thinking about it and going like, that thing's in the closet. I think it was because you didn't like me going in your closet at all.
Yeah.
And I'm a dumb little kid.
Right.
Like really little, by the way.
Yeah, you were at
Like,
most 5 years old.
Yeah, I think even less than that.
Yeah.
So like, again, you can't really blame a kid that old, I feel like. But, well, I guess that's not true. They should absolutely obey by then. I'm wrong. This was wrong. So I'll just say this was wrong of me. And hopefully my Theo does not do stuff like this. But anyway, yeah, I just went in and kicked the crap out of it and then left, I guess. And that's all I remember. I remember the vision of it on the floor in your closet.
Yeah.
Like I can picture that right now.
Uh-huh.
That's like one of my earliest memories was destroying your castle.
Wow.
Anyway, classic little brother stuff.
You were born and you chose violence.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I had various action figures. I had lots of Batman because I was a big Batman kid. Loved Batman, the animated series. I liked. I didn't really understand campiness in movies.
Yeah,
I just thought everything was played
Everything's
straight.
cool. Yeah.
And so, like Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, I thought both of them were really cool because I was a kid and I didn't know any better.
Yep.
And it's not that they're like terrible movies or anything.
Right.
They're
fine.
They're campy
They're
and,
weird,
and wacky
but-
and fun and on purpose. So it's not like Anyway, one thing is the Batman Forever Batmobile was one of the coolest ones because
So cool.
it was one piece and it could become the Batmobile, the Batboat, or the Batwing with just attaching various different parts to it. I thought that was very cool.
Very
Same
cool
like
little toy.
core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the many like Hot Wheels style Batmobiles we had. Tons of different ones.
Yeah.
different
Mom still has a
jets
few of
and-
them. Yeah.
Yeah, super cool stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely from our mom. That was
Yeah.
her stuff, basically.
And then I had Thomas the Tank Engine
Oh
toys.
yeah, great train.
And they were
stuff.
nice die cast metal.
Back when toys were nice.
Yeah. And then I also had like these wooden trains with these wooden tracks. And the trains were just generic train shaped trains.
The classic like wooden train,
yeah.
create
And so
your own track
I'd
thing.
build different
Love
track
that
layouts
stuff.
and just run the train along them.
I love that
and-
stuff. I gotta get some of those for Theo.
Yeah. And lots of dinosaur toys. I was huge into Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So I had like,
Actual Jurassic Park.
yeah. So
I
I had
remember one in particular. You could like open up its chest
yeah.
and like look at its anatomy a little bit.
Yeah. And that was one of my oldest ones.
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
one specifically.
Also had this huge T-Rex that I got after The Lost World came
Yeah.
out. And
It was scary.
this is the one you're thinking of because you could like put you could pull a thing out of its stomach. So it had a
Nice.
slit in its stomach and it had this little guy in a little metal cage and you could like have the T-Rex like swallow it and then just pull it
Nice.
out of its stomach.
That's cool.
But I also had one much older than that was probably gone by the time you were around even, and it had like a chunk of flesh you could pull off, and you could see its guts and bones and stuff.
No, that's the one. I remember.
Oh, you
it.
remember that one?
Absolutely.
Interesting. I thought I didn't think I still had it.
It was
by then.
almost. I'm picturing it was kind of reddish. The outside
Yeah,
of it.
it was like an orange color,
like an orangey reddish tan
T-Rex,
thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 'Cause
Yeah,
I remember,
interesting.
I remember its rib cage
Uh huh.
being able to see that on the side. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's the one.
Interesting, because I feel like I had that
Probably one
way
of my
further back.
probably
but
one of
yeah.
my earliest memories, honestly. So, yeah, I have a decent memory from like 3 and 4 years old
Yeah.
for random stuff like that.
I did leave. I had a really nice T-Rex toy,
Those
and
are
I
always
left it outside.
Those are always the ones you lose.
See, I was far too trusting as a child, and I just didn't. It didn't really occur to me that if I left a toy of mine outside, that other kids would just steal it.
Yeah.
But that happened.
Yeah.
So I lost a few toys that way.
So sad.
Unfortunately, it took a few times for it to really stick.
Yeah.
I think that happened at least like 3 times that
Yeah.
I had a toy stolen because I left it unattended,
Dang.
which unfortunately breeds a kind of possessive feeling
And
in a child.
resentment, basically. Yeah.
It's
Yikes.
like, oh, okay, I can't let anybody play with my stuff because they might steal it.
Got it. I hate everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Kids sometimes
that was
go
unfortunate.
overboard a little bit.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember. Our
Kids are
mom,
great.
she tried to get me to share, and I was just
Yeah.
like, "Why would I share?
Why in the world
This
would
is
I do
my
that?"
stuff.
Yeah.
They think they're entitled to my stuff? No.
I think you have to start really early with that kind of
Yeah,
stuff
you really do.
so that they don't even think of the concept of not sharing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, anyway, that's just a thought of mine,
Mm-hmm.
though. Like, before they're even verbal, like,
Yeah.
make them okay with sharing.
Also, Star Wars in the early 90s had the mid to late 90s had the action fleet. And they had these really nice toys, model toys that were like fairly big. They
Yeah.
were like 5 by 5 inches
Sure.
big or something, like 5 by 5 by 5 inch cube. You could fit one of these in there. Anyway, I'm trying to describe the size and failing
Yeah.
because I'm like showing with my hands, but obviously
Yeah.
this is an audio only podcast. Anyway, so I had several of them. I had the shuttle, which was my favorite ship
The
in all of Star
Imperial-
Wars.
the Imperial shuttle, right?
the Lambda class shuttle
with the cool wings that came down. Oh, yeah, I love that.
I had
love
an
that
X-wing,
thing.
of course. I had
You had
like
an A-wing, right?
I did have an A-wing
Yeah.
and a Y-wing
I remember
and
that.
a TIE interceptor. I never did have a regular
cool.
TIE fighter.
Yeah, it's interesting. Which is like one of my favorite ships.
Or no, that's
so-
not true. At one point, I had a very large
Oh, yeah, you got
regular
a
TIE
giant
fighter,
one.
finally.
Yeah.
But that was like what I got much later. But and I had like 3 sizes of Millennium Falcon.
Of course. Yeah.
I had Darth Vader's TIE fighter.
Heck yeah.
I had an
I
AT-AT Walker.
remember your Darth Vader one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't pronounce it at. I just spell it out AT-AT.
Yeah, I think that makes way
But,
more sense.
yeah.
So,
Because I also spell out ATST, because how would you say that? Atst.
Atst.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the
doesn't work.
atst.
It's ATST and AT-AT.
Yeah.
Just anyway.
Way better.
From a lifelong Star Wars fan, it's AT-AT.
Yeah, take that. Come at us, Star Wars fans.
Yeah. And mom and your dad did a really cool thing one morning. I woke up on the morning of my birthday. I walk into the living room, and hanging from the ceiling is this Millennium Falcon. This huge Millennium
The
Falcon.
big boy.
It was like half as big as me
Yeah.
at that age.
Like, whoa, oh my gosh.
It was very cool.
That's awesome. That's a fun thing to do for a kid.
Yeah. Also, I was big into Transformers Beast Wars at around
Yeah,
that time. And so I
nice.
had several of those
you have some of those?
action figures. Yep.
I don't remember those. Interesting.
Yeah.
I usually can remember your toys decently.
Well, see, I think we sold off a lot of them
Yeah, yeah. You always eventually
around the
them.
year 2000.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that makes sense. I was only
I
coming
do
into
remember one
consciousness.
time your dad was like, "You have way too many toys." And to be fair, he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
I did.
But it's scary when parents decide that you just have too many toys.
yeah.
You're
That's-
about to lose
You
some
can't let them
toys.
get too attached
Yeah,
because
for real.
then it's not as big a deal when you get rid of stuff.
Yep.
Oh, I'm glazing over. So other toys I actually got rid of fairly quickly. I was talking to Mom about this. Apparently, every once in a while, I would give away toys to like Goodwill or whatever. So I was big into Power Rangers.
Yeah.
When I was,
Huge Power
like,
Rangers person.
3, 4, 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I had several of the Megazords, including the like magnum opus. The coolest one I ever had was the Green Ranger's Dragon Zord.
Heck yeah.
It was so cool.
So sick.
I also was I was into the first season Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as well as Power Rangers
OG.
Zeo, which was where they, instead of dinosaur themed, it was animal themed. And that was when it went, the Green Ranger became the White Ranger.
Yeah.
And he had
That's like
the
the
White
time-
Tiger Zord.
That's like the time of like the first big movie, right?
Yeah.
That
was right around then.
that, yeah.
And so I was into it for that period, and then I was also around the same time into VR Troopers. And I probably would have been into Beetleborgs if I had continued to watch those kinds of shows and stuff like that.
That's
But
funny.
I don't know if this is something I completely decided on my own or if I gave into peer pressure or what, but it was other kids when I was 6, 7, 8 years old saw Power Rangers as a thing for 5-year-olds. And younger.
Interesting.
It was not
for little
cool
kids.
to be into Power Rangers.
Dang.
And I think I might have just given into peer pressure and just said, okay, no, I'm not into Power Rangers anymore because I'm not a little baby. I'm a
Right.
big kid now.
Dang. That's funny.
So, but also
At
I
5
had,
years old, already given into
Yeah.
peer pressure.
but
Like
I had
that.
also moved on to other interests anyway. So
Sure.
I think
Not a
those
big
things all
deal,
combined, but
but-
I don't think I would have given up Power Rangers that easily otherwise if it hadn't
Yeah.
been seen that way.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. So that pretty much covers toys I played with before while we were at Aloha Park the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. So like that's my whole childhood also.
Yeah.
So I don't remember my toys nearly as well as you do. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. Like because partly I played with those same toys you're talking about right now.
Right.
Like I played with your toys also. So like I remember some specific Blues Clues related toys. I had some handy dandy notebooks
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
plushes of Blue, things like that that we still have.
You
actually.
did have your own Hot Wheels collection too?
Yeah, that makes
Separate
sense.
from mine.
Yeah.
I remember that for sure because you had like that wheel that
Yeah, I
you could
did.
turn it and
Which
different
was really
cars would come
cool.
out.
That was really cool. I especially loved from your box. I would like sneak into your box just to play with the color changing ones.
Yeah.
Where you, like,
yeah.
could
you
hold
put
your
them like in
finger
the
on
hot
it.
yeah, or you put them in the hot water and they change color and you pull them
So
out.
sick.
Yeah.
I loved that as a kid.
But
I
yeah,
had-
just body heat was enough.
Yeah, I had these things called Crazy Bones,
Yep.
which a lot of people don't even know what those are now.
They were
But-
your generation's Pogs.
Exactly. They're plastic figurines that are weird shapes and, sizes and stuff. But they are basically Pogs. They're almost exactly the same,
Yeah.
but a little more death themed, which I think is kind of cool, actually.
More bone themed.
Yeah, very bony. And like the little cases that you could hold them in were coffins,
Yeah.
like in the shape of coffins, stuff like that, which I just thought was normal as a kid.
Yeah.
And I had a cool little lunchbox for Crazy Bones too, which was really cool. And then I also actually had a decent amount of Transformer toys.
Yeah. I think you were more into regular
Just
standard Transformers.
straight up Transformers. And I never really cared for the show even that much. I just really liked the toys themselves.
Yeah.
Because you could transform them.
Yeah.
And that was just fun playing with to me.
I was only ever into Beast Wars. I never really got into just plain Jane Transformers.
Yeah.
But part of it is I don't think it was airing at the time.
Yeah.
On any of the channels I watched at the time.
And yeah, so I think just seeing them around and seeing bits and pieces, I knew what they were, so I thought they were cool, basically.
yeah.
Because I remember Nana had a couple Transformers toys too, and so I always liked them when I was at her house.
Yeah.
And so I just slowly, got a couple Transformers. A lot of them I actually still have, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
There was specifically a blue Starscream figure that I really liked. that was really fun to, because it turned into a cool airplane.
Yeah.
And this brings me to the biggest regret in giving away a toy. I remember I'm pretty sure this was in the apartments. And we were going through my toys and just getting rid of a few of them.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. It wasn't a big deal to me. And I think I was just in a mood that day where I just didn't care about any of my toys.
Yeah.
Right? And then the next day regretting it completely.
Right.
And still kind of regretting it to this day. I got rid of Unicron.
Oh yeah. I remember your Unicron.
So it's like a gigantic Transformer toy.
Yeah.
And Unicron is like the eater of planets in the Transformers universe. So he is a giant Transformer that transforms into a planet, basically with a big gun on it, instead of, a car or something. And so it was insanely cool. He could like shoot missiles out of his chest. It came with, this was also the era of mini-crons, I think they were called.
Mini-cons.
Mini-cons, which are like tiny Transformers, which I loved messing with. Just it was almost like a fidget toy in the way I would just like unfold it, then put it back together and do it over and over. And the one that Unicron came with was my favorite one. And I got rid of both of those. The two like coolest toys I've ever owned.
Yeah.
And I still kind of regret that.
Yeah.
Because those were so cool. So that's a bit sad.
Yeah.
But hey, that's life, Otherwise, I mean, my Nintendo DS first my Game Boy Color, which I had the lime green one, which I loved. I had, I remember playing Pokemon Gold on it specifically. I remember Yoshi's Cookie, which we both played a lot.
Yep.
Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, the games we just had, right?
Yeah.
Loved that. And then probably the most excited I've ever been, like when you got your N64 for Christmas, was when Nana got me my silver Game Boy Advance SP for Christmas. I don't remember ever screaming that much in my life.
Yeah.
Like the insane excitement over that.
Yeah.
And then eventually my regular DS, I got this really nice cobalt blue original DS that mom got me for a birthday. And she did one of those like scavenger hunt things for me to find a present. And it was like underneath her bed, I remember, in like a container. It was that blue DS. Oh, yeah. I played the crap out of that thing. I thought it was so cool because I could play my Game Boy Advance games on it too, because I had like that Sonic X Game Boy Advance video cartridge. So I had the first 2 episodes of Sonic X on it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was so cool. So I could just watch. I remember watching it on my little DS.
The idea of that is almost absurd to me.
It's so funny. But it was so cool.
Yeah.
I remember one time I dropped that DS in a Home Depot.
Yeah.
Not a Home Depot, Office Depot. The Office Depot in Tanasbourne.
Yeah.
And a little piece of the hinge broke off. But it still flipped mostly fine.
Yeah.
And I was so relieved.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I almost broke my DS. So anyway, good times. Good times.
I just remembered I had Street Sharks.
Oh yeah.
I never saw the show.
Yeah.
I just had the toys.
I remember the shark. Yeah. He was cool.
Actually, I don't know if I owned them or if they were at Nana's.
I think they were at
played
Nana's.
with them. Yeah.
Just like the biker mice from Mars, little dude.
Right. Well, they got that from me.
Oh, okay.
Those were mine.
Okay.
But I think the Street Sharks, they
I
might
remember
have
that as a Nana toy. So yeah.
There's a handful of toys that they got from me that I don't remember giving to them, but I'm not gonna
Interesting.
It's been too long to be mad about it all.
So,
but yeah.
I have like 7 male cousins.
Yeah.
We only have males in the family, it turns out. And I'm having a son, so I'm just joining in on that.
Yeah, you're just continuing the tradition.
And they're all about my age or Brian's age or somewhere in between. And so a lot of these toys we played with them also. It was really cool though because they had DSs also.
Yeah.
And so we played DS stuff together all the time, me and Tanner and Parker especially.
Yeah.
And they're like only a year apart from me. And so we would do like Picto Chat You know, I don't know if you remember that on the original DS, but that was so fun. Just like little chat rooms, little draw dumb stuff, and yeah, so good. I played so many very weird games. I played a lot of weird DS games. I didn't have like Platinum and Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Like I didn't have the popular big cool games. I had very weird DS games.
It is so funny how I just barely missed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because I would have absolutely been all over that show, but I think it was just a timing thing, and I just never saw the show.
You were just a little too young, almost.
None of my immediate friends had the toys, so I didn't play with the toys either, and so like it just kind of flew right by me.
And it just didn't catch me either, because when I was young, they came out with like the new version or whatever, the new cartoon, which is a good show. It was like a well produced. It was a little more edgy. You know?
Like Shredder was actually scary as opposed to just comically
And like the toys were cool. They had like a cool GameCube game and like all this stuff. I just didn't care. I don't know. I just didn't. It didn't grip me either. So neither of us have ever been big Ninja Turtle people. So very random. Yeah. Very funny.
And after we moved into, as we call it, the house with the stairs, because it was a house that had stairs in it. We're very creative.
Yes. But I know exactly which one you're talking about.
That's when I got into Gundam Wing. And so I had a few Gundam toys, a few Gundam action figures. And also I got really big into Godzilla. And so we searched high and low for Godzilla toys. We went to every toy store in this area, in the greater Portland metro area, like every single toy store, and bought every Godzilla toy I could find, which weren't many.
Like now it's super easy, but
I think there were fewer than 10, but I had them.
You had some great Godzilla.
I had Godzilla. I had Mecha King Ghidorah. I had
your Mecha King Ghidorah
Godzilla.
Was so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I still love that stuff. So. But we're at time, Ryan.
Yeah. I don't have a lot more to say, so I'll just quickly go through it, and then we'll wrap up. So yeah, I think that was about peak toy. Like that was
I would say so.
I remember
peak toy time.
I was really bad about keeping my room clean. My room was just always a mess. My toys were just always out everywhere.
Yeah.
And so your dad was like, okay, fine. So he built this giant wooden box to sit in the corner of my room, and I just threw all my toys into it.
That's awesome.
So there's just a sea of toys in this giant wooden box.
But it was better than just all over the floor.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And
Great solution, Dad. Thanks.
When I was into Micro Machines, they had Super Van City.
Super Van City.
And it's the big old van, and you could open it up and it turned into a city, and you could just play with your Micro Machines on it. I saw the commercial for that and I needed it. And I got it at one point. And for some reason I got rid of it at one point, and then I got it back again because I wanted it back. And then obviously I don't have it today. So I apparently got rid of it again. But
that's funny.
That was an interesting saga of my life. The Super Van City. I had to have it.
That's so funny. I remember like a different Micro Machine thing. It was like a parking garage.
Yeah.
It was white. It had like this tower you could pull up.
Yeah.
Do you remember what that is?
I don't remember what it's called, but I remember that one. I played with it a lot.
I liked that a lot. Mostly the tower thing, putting it up and down. I just remember that.
It had like rooftop angled parking.
Yep. Yeah, it was like a parking garage, like an airport or something, which was a weird, very realistic thing to play with.
Yeah.
But I thought it was
like
super
kids
cool.
love that kind of thing. So
yeah. I thought it was really cool to just be able to move them through a lot of different, it was like a maze almost.
Yeah, different levels. And
I thought that was so cool. So that's my main memory of Micro Machines.
Oh, and like also we had Crisscross Crash.
Oh, such a good little Hot Wheels track toy. Yeah, that thing was awesome. Because like they would go through these loops and stuff, and then every once in a while just collide and explode. Amazing. What a perfect Hot Wheels toy to me. Yeah.
And I had Bionicles. I had pretty much all of them.
I loved Bionicle too. Yeah.
I had all the Toas. I had all of the like new Toas where they had like bigger armor and like chest plates and stuff. I had the Borak, the Borak Call.
The Borak was like my favorite,
Yeah.
actually. I really liked that they could turn into balls, basically, and the little rubber masks
Yeah,
that they came
the
with.
Krana.
Those were so cool. I just saw those on Facebook Marketplace. Somebody was selling a set of the little masks, and I was like, I kind of want those.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, those are so
I have
sick.
a handful
So nostalgic for that, especially.
of them left, but nowhere near the collection I used to
Yeah.
have, unfortunately.
And now those are so loved now that they're
Yeah.
very expensive. Yeah.
I only wish.
Yep. They also had these ones that were like, they had like long spears basically. And
Yeah.
They had like longer mask kind of things. They were like weird shaped heads.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they were called exactly. I think they were after the Borak though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I wasn't into it anymore after like the Borak Call,
Mm-hmm.
which were like the next evolution of the Borak. I only had like one of the Rahi, which were the original bad guys. They were
Interesting.
bigger and more monstrous.
I just loved the look of the Borak. I think they
Yeah.
were really unique and cool.
Also, they had these little discs with these little animated shorts that were beautifully animated
Yep,
and
I
very
remember that.
and just cool.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, the little like tiny discs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could have just ripped them all and just saved them. I would
I
just
bet you could find them
occasionally
somewhere.
rewatch them.
I bet you
Yeah.
could find it somewhere online, but
Yeah.
hopefully it's not lost media. But
Yeah.
yep, good times.
And then I think the last thing I want to mention is my Zoid model kits.
No, of course, yeah.
In high school,
Which you still
I-
have on your shelf.
Yes,
They're
proudly
they're
displayed
gorgeous.
on a shelf in my room.
Yeah.
I got Liger Zero, Schneider,
Yep.
and
With the blades. So cool.
and also I have this like dark like evil like Liger Zero thing that's from like a comic.
Oh,
it's not even
interesting.
from the anime.
That's cool.
I have the Death Stinger.
The Death
and,
Stinger is so sick.
Berserk Fury and
The Berserk Fury. That's like the one I associate you with, basically.
yeah, I loved that.
But you also have a shield liger, don't you?
Do I?
Or at least you did.
I think so. I
pretty
think I do
certain.
have a Shield Liger and a Lightning Sykes.
Oh, Lightning Sykes is really cool too.
Yeah.
It's like the little leopard one.
Yeah.
So what was it called? So there was the Berserk Fury, which was like the big bad one, but then there were like the lower class
Genosaurs?
Genosaur. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, the lower class or whatever of
Yeah.
bad guys. Those were cool too.
Yep.
Yeah, I still love the names and designs of the
Yeah.
Zoids. They're just so good because I love Gundam, like Gunpla model
Yeah.
kits and stuff too. And so that just looks so good.
Yeah.
So last story for that.
Mm-hmm.
There is a toy shop. I think it might still be here actually
Yeah.
in Beaverton. That is a very weird. It's like some guy's like personal toy collection that he sells, and he's not nice. Now this was like 10 plus years ago at this
Right.
point. I'm talking, but
I think I know the place you're talking
yeah.
about. Is
It
it where
was just
I
called
bought
Toys.
the Ultrasaurus?
yeah,
Yeah.
And so we went there. He had some Zoid model kits. He had a bunch of Japanese stuff.
Yeah.
And just a weird mixture of things. And I loved the Ultrasaurus.
Yeah.
This is a Zoid from like Chaotic Century, I think.
Yeah.
And it's a gigantic Stegosaurus, basically, right?
It's a
Brachiosaurus.
Yeah, Brachiosaurus.
So it's like a giant, the giant
sauropod.
herbivore
Yeah.
or herbivore thing. And so it was like a Zoid that was 10 times the size of the other ones.
Yeah.
So it was super slow, but like very powerful still because it was gigantic. And I thought that was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went there, and I was always jealous of your model kits a little bit because I didn't have any Zoid model kits. But
And-
I'm like a baby child.
Oh yeah, you were very very little,
course.
but you
I shouldn't.
and you were
have
kind of like
something like that.
especially jealous because I
very
bought
jealous.
the Ultrasaurus.
Yes, and it was like I remember it was $80,
Yeah.
and to me as a kid, that is wealth. That is
Yeah.
the epitome of rich. That is so much money. But when you bought it, I knew. I don't know why. I knew you were going to give it to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, but why would he do that? That's way too nice of him to do that. But you were really excited to do it too. I could
Yeah.
tell. And you gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. So from your perspective, I've never heard this. Why did you give it to me? When did you plan that?
I think I did.
Like-
I think it was pre-planned.
Okay. Like you knew, did you know it was at the store or?
Yes, I believe so. And I think it's just came down to I knew that you wanted it more than I did.
Yeah. Okay.
And I knew I could get it.
Yeah. Cause you had, I don't know, were you working at Pizza Caboose by then? Or?
Maybe.
I would assume so. Cause you were able to buy an $80 toy, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, probably. Either that or I had saved up or I just had some cash from allowance built up at that point. But probably I did.
I was maybe 9 years old.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about what age I was. I'm not
if
good
it was
at that,
after
but-
Pizza Caboose, I'd have been 18 and you'd have been 11.
Yeah, but see, I think I was younger than that.
Yeah, so I think this might have just been allowance money that I bought it with.
Interesting. But yeah, blew my mind. That night, I think you helped me put it together.
Yeah.
But because I mean, it's a giant model kit. I still have it.
Yep.
It is mostly in one piece. One of the like top orange part where like the pilot was, or one of the pilots. I think it took multiple pilots. To do it. That's broken off a little bit. But I think other than that, it's in one piece.
Yeah.
I think there's maybe one little top part of the tail that I don't have anymore.
Yeah.
That was really young. So I'm amazed it's as together as it still is.
Yeah.
But I still have it. It's in a toy bin. It's protected. I try to keep it not destroyed. I liked, and it had electronics in it, which is insanely cool.
Oh yeah, because it moved.
It actually moved.
It could walk.
It could walk-ish.
Yeah, walk-ish.
as well as a model kit can. But anyway, insanely cool. One of the coolest random presents, basically. Yeah. Good times. Good times. I'm glad I still have that. That would suck if that, I don't know, lost that or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's toys.
Yep.
I guess that's the podcast.
Yep.
We went long, but I had to tell you the Ultrasaurus story. I'm going to look it up later. I'm wondering how much that goes for on eBay. I wonder if it's expensive. Anyway, goodbye. maybe I'll have a baby by the next episode.
Yeah.
Or we might record another one. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. Please download it if you're listening on, Spotify or something like that. That just gives us analytics so we know what's going on and that you're listening. If you're on YouTube, what's up, YouTube?
What's up?
Hit that like. Give us a subscribe, please, if you liked it. And throw us a comment. Tell us about some of your favorite toys. Tell me why Sword and Shield sucks. Stuff like that. And follow us on Twitter at @TheBrothersGPod.
Yeah.
That's it.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.
Dorks.